guys, welcome back to Telltale. I'm Emily.
I'm Greg.
And we are going to be talking about Bram Stoker's Dracula's Guest. It is a short story.
Mm-hmm.
An enjoyable short story, though.
It was. It's very interesting, but the way it reads is like is kind of fragmentary, and that's because it is firmly believed that it was the first chapter of Dracula.
That's why you kind of walk into it feeling like you're halfway through a conversation already. I kind of had that vibe, so I wondered.
And I was reading something that was pointing out that there was a reference in Dracula to that woman that he ran into in the graveyard. But that scene was never in the book. Well, it's in Dracula's Guest, and so that's another big piece of why they think it was a first chapter that was cut by the editor before it was published.
Ooh.
So then after Stoker died, his widow created a collection of short works by Stoker called Dracula's Guest and Other Stories, published it probably to raise money to keep living. And so that's when it finally got published. It was a long time later. And it's probably why it was called Dracula's Guest, because if I recall correctly, Dracula isn't mentioned in the story.
Not until the very end.
Yeah.
The note, the telegram that he sends. But yeah, Dracula's not, even really a character at all.
Yeah, it's not really anything about Dracula. It's about, and they don't even mention Harker by name.
Yeah, it's this gentleman who's going to see someone.
And it happens
in Germany.
He goes from Munich, he's on his way, but he's still, like you say, he's still in Germany or Austria.
Yeah.
Not even in Hungary yet.
Yeah.
When he goes through this experience in the graveyard.
Yeah. So it's, synopsis is pretty simple. A guy's trying to get to a destination. He's a foreigner, English, and his coach driver, or the guy who's driving the carriage, is just superstitious. He's just really nervous, very anxious, and he keeps saying, with broken English that's kind of hard to understand, that there's just bad things that have happened, and it's a bad night to travel, and the horses are clearly spooked by stuff. So eventually the guy's like, you know what, I'll just walk. And the carriage guy's like, what? Don't do it! But then is too scared to really stop him, and then the horses kind of go nuts and just, barrel off. So the guy's walking, and he gets caught in, this blizzard or something, and ends up stumbling into this graveyard of this ghost town. And, there's, he falls, into basically a mausoleum or something to try and get out of the wind. And then he sees this woman lying as if she's still alive in the mausoleum, and then something unseen rips him out of there and blows him back into the storm, and then he ends up being rescued by a bunch of soldiers who happen to be traveling, and I don't know why the soldiers were there or what they were doing. But so it's just this short story of this guy trying to get to this destination, and at the very end there's a telegram from Dracula. That's why the soldiers ended up going out on a search party, saying hey, this telegram from Dracula says, this guy is of utmost importance to me. Please make sure he gets to me safely. I have not seen him. He needs to arrive safely, sort of thing. And so the soldiers end up finding him in the snow with a wolf trying to protect him or, keep him warm or something weird.
Yeah. It
was really strange, but it was a really cool story. It definitely, of course, felt like it fell in line with the Dracula story. But the beginning of it felt like a conversation, like you were walking into a conversation halfway. So it wasn't a top tale for me, really.
Not quite.
No, but it was good, and it was a cool introduction to Dracula.
Yes, it was.
So now, having read Dracula and having read this short story, I do see the flow happening. But yeah, it was good. I liked it.
Yeah, so definitely worth a read.
A nice little ghost story for you.
Yeah, perfect short one for a Halloween.
A spooky season.
While the kids are out getting their candy.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, it took me less than 15 minutes to get through that thing. It was real fast. But very enjoyable. Gave you good spooky vibes. But I really don't have much else like to say about it, like to
No,
contribute.
there's not a whole lot more you can say.
Mm-hmm. So
It was a good
it's
story worth
yeah,
reading.
good story
No
worth
huge
reading. Can
lesson to
recommend.
it.
Yeah,
No politics in it.
yeah. It's pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't get lost in the woods
Yeah.
during a snowstorm in
Uh-huh.
Germany when you don't speak the language. On what
Mhm.
did they keep? What is the holiday? The Devil's Night or
Um,
whatever. Wampusnacht or
Walpurgis.
Walpurgisnacht
Whatever, how do you
or
say that?
however. I don't
Yeah.
know how they say it, but yeah, it was spooky
Mm-hmm.
and I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna look more into that holiday too. I've never
Yeah.
heard of it before. Like
I
before
have.
reading,
There's-
yeah, I hadn't like before reading these. It never. I know Krampusnacht
Yeah.
before Christmas, but
Mm-hmm.
hadn't heard of that one until reading Dracula. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so it was a good one.
Mm-hmm. So recommend it and come back and or like us, subscribe to us, come back for more. Leave comments if you've read this story and have any thoughts about it or knowledge of any history of it that we didn't talk about here.
Yeah.
And otherwise come back and see more of these videos that we do.
We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.